Alrighty, what's going on, guys? JFreakinC here, and tonight I am doing something a little bit different, something I've never really done. I want to just kind of talk about this movie I just watched. I kind of want to push myself to try new things, and I know some people will make videos and they will script out their whole response or their analysis of a movie that they've seen or something. I don't want to spend time writing a script though, so instead what I will do is this. I have a chance to just word vomit my thoughts about this movie, The Matrix Resurrections. So I want to start with like a synopsis of what the story is here. According to the HBO Max here, it says the next chapter from Lana Wachowski's in the groundbreaking franchise that redefined a genre and reunites original stars Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss in the iconic roles they made famous, Neo and Trinity. So it doesn't really tell you much about the story there. I'll give you what I think would be a better, synopsis in my opinion, or what do you call it? What's the goddamn word for it? Like an overview of what it is about. So the Matrix Resurrection takes place after the third Matrix movie. So after Neo, Trinity was supposed to be dead, right? And spoilers if you haven't seen the Matrix, but Trinity's dead. Neo goes and fights Agent Smith for everybody, defeats them, makes like an agreement with the robots, and they're gonna let anybody leave the Matrix, I guess. What ends up happening is a new Matrix is made, and Neo and Trinity are used as forms of energy production within the Matrix. So the machines still use them, and they have found that by having them in the Matrix, they get much more production out of the system because Neo and Trinity love to hate their life they're having, I guess. Something like that. I honestly should watch this movie a second time. But basically, that's what's going on, right? Neo is a game developer, and the game he developed was The Matrix. So the movies of The Matrix that you've seen, those stories that were real in those movies, are now referred to in The Matrix as a video game. So in his mind, those things happened, but then they didn't, and his therapist tells him they didn't, and that it was just a video game that he made, and that he has these thoughts of things that are outside of the world or outside of the Matrix, but those are just delusions. Pretty crazy, actually. That was like really good. I like that way they did that. And then his therapist is Neil Patrick Harris, which is awesome too because he's a great actor. There is also some weird stuff right at the very beginning, right? So there's a new character, but his name is Morpheus. He's not the Morpheus. He is the video game version of Morpheus that Neo made. Neo made him, and he is a cross between the two of Morpheus that he loves and Agent Smith that he hates. So he's actually an agent in the Matrix. In the model? I thought it was model, but whatever. In the version of the Matrix that Keanu Reeves was working on. There's also this new character with blue hair. Honestly, bro, I don't remember her name. I'm gonna have to look it up. Okay, see, I thought her name was Bugs, but I didn't want to say the wrong name. So her name is Bugs, which is ridiculous because she has the bunny tattoo that like entices Neo into following her down the rabbit hole. That's a little too specific for me. It's not like, I don't know, it's too easy. I don't like that. That's how okay, let me just say it here right now. The Matrix Resurrections is a cool movie, right? Don't get me wrong, there's some cool things, and I love the Matrix universe, so I love that there's a new Matrix movie. I just cannot get over the fact it felt kind of dumb on some parts. Like it felt like it just felt much more shallow than the original Matrix movies. Well, the original Matrix movie, the first one, I didn't like that. Yeah, there was also some things that they changed towards the end. They were just like, what? All right, so yeah, Neo is the game developer, and then there is Carrie-Anne Moss who plays Trinity, and Trinity's character in the new Matrix, she's a mom and she makes custom motorcycles. She's a motorcycle person, which is cool. She's a badass. She wore a lot of leather in the first movies, so I guess that makes sense, right? She likes to ride motorcycles. She wears leather. That was like probably the craziest part to me was she had a family. I guess she could just feel it in her chest, right? But she has kids and a husband, and at one point you think she's gonna choose her family above Neo, and that would make the most sense, but then she doesn't. That was probably the most like real part of the story, where I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then she changed her mind, and you're like, okay, must be because like soulmates kind of thing. The connection is too strong. Even the fake family can't like keep her from changing her mind. I also did like that she had, in the old movies, her character had like these visions, right? This like premonition ability, and they kept that up. She still has like dreams that end up coming true, which was good. I like that. Neo is a whole lot different from as a character, right? In the first Matrix movie, Neo was very like wanted to know the truth. But then when he got it, he was very kind of like, is this what I really wanted kind of thing? Like he wasn't 100% on board with the whole real life thing until the very end when he becomes the one, right? But then in the second two movies, he's just the one. He's just absolutely the most confident, badass fighter dude ever. And he can do whatever he wants in the Matrix. In this one, bro, he is like a straight up crazy person. He's got mental illness. He's tripping. He thinks that the Matrix is fake, but inside he believes it's real, but everything around him is telling him it's a delusion. And like, man, that could be, can't even imagine how that would feel. Crazy. So that was a pretty cool little detail. Not little detail, that was cool that they did that. What I didn't really like, or I guess it was just kind of too weird for me, was there was some very meta stuff towards the beginning where they're making the fourth installment of the Matrix, and Keanu Reeves' character has to sit in with a bunch of like producers or whatever they are, writers probably, to come up with the new story of the next Matrix, the reboot of the franchise. And they're talking about what makes the Matrix, and it just felt like almost like an inside joke for them, the people who made the movie, to do, the directors or the writers. But I don't know, bro. I probably could have went without that scene. It didn't add too much to the coolness of the story. It didn't make me happy. I didn't care for it. It just kind of wasted my time personally. That's how some people probably really enjoy that stuff. They're like, oh, it's so meta, that's so cool. But me, I don't need that. Just feels like movie people talking shit about movie people. It's kind of lame, kind of cringe, if you ask me. I also feel like one gripe I have about it's hard to expect this, and really, like, I guess it would just be like, if I was a creator, if I was a movie maker, it would be really hard to do this kind of stuff. But like the original movies they just had this like modernness to them. They just felt very modern, almost futuristic, right? And they also had like kind of like some soul to them. They felt like a movie being made that somebody's been working on forever and has fleshed out as much as they could, and then they got to make it, and they put in everything they could. They put in all the heart and effort that they could into the Matrix. It has so much like double entendres and underlying like scenario stuff, and just all this awesome stuff in the Matrix. Like, things mean something and something else at the same time all over that movie, right? This movie feels soulless. I hate to say it like that. To me, it felt like it was cool. It's a cool movie, but just kind of soulless. There's questions you have, right, about like what happened in the time between the movies, like what's going on with the humans on the outside. You get a little bit of taste of it. You get to see like a new city that's really cool, but there's nothing new. There's no questions that are like, they're all just questions like, oh, what happened here? What happened to this guy? What? There's no questions like, I don't know how to describe it, man. I felt like the Matrix just had such a deep meaning and deep feelings. People still think that, like, oh, are we living in a simulation? That people still feel that way. But this movie just didn't feel as it just felt more generic. It felt like if you were gonna make a Matrix movie, this is what you would do, kind of. It just felt dumb. I don't know how to explain it in another way. It felt dumb. Like, carry on, moms. Spoilers. Huge spoilers here, right? At the end of the movie, you know, Neo as the one, he could bend the Matrix to any way he wants, right? So he can fly because the Matrix is fake, and he can just use the code to make himself fly. Now, it took him a huge character arc to get to the point where he realized that he was the one and what the Matrix was, and he could fly. And he could like see the gold code and stuff, right? At the end of this movie, Trinity, they jump off of a building and Trinity flies. Not Neo. She carries him. And I just couldn't, like, what? Why? This is what I'm talking about. This feels like oh, it'd be cool. That was like when they were writing it, they were sitting down, they were like, it would be really cool if Trinity was the one too. You can't be the one and be both of them. It was just weird. So yeah, it just felt like okay. It's 2021. We gotta have the hero cannot be a white dude, right? Or a male. It's gotta be the female. She's gonna take over. She's gonna save him. She's gonna fly. And that sounds stupid to hate on that kind of stuff. It just feels forced or lazy. One or the other. I'm all for women like heroes. I love that. It just felt generic and stupid in this movie. And then the last scene. There's a scene at the very end where they both together fly up to the house that Neil Patrick Harris lives. And they're gonna tell him like, we're gonna be in charge now or whatever. And they beat him up a couple times and do all this stuff to him that's kind of mean. Not mean, but he deserves it, right? They beat him up, hurt him a little bit. But as they're talking, the delivery just feels so robotic. It's so weird that their delivery would feel robotic when they're supposed to be the awakened humans in the robots world. They should be the most human-like. And it felt so robotic. I hate that. I was just like, what is going on? This is crazy. That was weird to me. Other than that, it was cool. It's a well-made film. The cinematics are cool. I like the photography. I like the special effects. There's a scene where Bugs goes to Neo and he's about to jump off of a building to try to fly. And she stops him and she has like a door to open to take him in. And the door is like outlined really cool in like a white light. And what I really like is the reflection on the ground is really cool too. I don't know, that kind of stuff. I really like that. So like the actual way it looks is good. Special effects are awesome. The explosions, the freaking, all the cool stuff like that. I like that. Even the stuff that doesn't look that real, looks kind of cartoony, looks kind of video gamey. I like that though. I don't mind. I like video gamey like stuff. So it was cool. But I just felt like after my first watching, this movie felt soulless, shallow. Maybe not shallow compared to some movies, but for a Matrix movie, it felt super shallow. That's pretty much all I got. It was a lot of rambling, but I want to try something different today. Hope you guys don't mind. And I would really love it if you guys would tell me what you guys think. If anybody watches this and has a comment or has seen the movie, wants to tell me what they think, I would love to discuss it with everybody because that's awesome. I love talking about movies to people, so it would be really fun to discuss it with you. But for now, I am going to go to bed. I got work in the morning, and hope to see you guys later.